Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Infinite Snap podcast. I'm your host, Shadow DTV, as I am known in the online space, but real name Richie, of course. And we've got my co-host here today, Tom. How you doing, Tom?
Good. Yourself?
Good. Yeah, I'm good. Been we say the same thing every week. Been playing some Marvel Snap this week. Not as much as usual. I thought it'd be super hyped for the new season with Nick Fury and like missions and stuff, but I don't know. I kind of haven't been super hyped. I have been doing like daily missions and stuff, so I'm still progressing tons. I think it's just like a bit of a lull now that we've got some big news about some things changing in Marvel Snap soon. I'm kind of just in a bit of a lull, but I can feel that hype's like gonna start building up towards the some big news that we're gonna talk about. Guys, podcast is live on Twitch. We're trying to do it around 9 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time because, of course, we're from Australia, if you didn't guess by the accents already. So we've been doing that live now, so you can join us live for the podcast. Of course, you'll be able to listen to it on YouTube and podcasting platforms the day after that, after the stream. So yeah, that's the time we're trying to do it. We've got a pre-show where we chat a little bit before the show, and then after the show, a post-show where we chat. So you can only hear that stuff live on Twitch, but other than that, you can hear the fantastic podcast, Infinite Snap. All right, so some good topics today. Some great topics today, actually. We're going to talk about Nick Fury. We've had like a whole week with Nick Fury now, the card. So we'll be able to discuss our thoughts on that. There was a huge Marvel Snap announcement this week. I feel like if you're part of the Marvel Snap community, you already know what it is, but we're going to get into that later. We're going to talk about our favorite art in Marvel Snap. We've briefly spoken about our favorite variant, but we haven't really like discussed the art in general. So we're definitely going to talk about some variants and things like that. And of course, we're going to play everyone's favorite game, Snap Who. Tom and I are currently tied on 5 points each. We will explain the rules of the game later in the show, and we'll be playing that, and you guys can play at home as well. Guys, if you listen to the podcast, feel free to leave a review. Apple Podcasts lets you leave like a written review and like a star rating. Spotify only let you do like a star rating. You can't actually write a written review. But please do that as well if you're on Spotify. Google Podcasts actually doesn't let you leave reviews at the moment. Hopefully they add something like that. It's just cool to like, it's not even for like ranking or anything. I'm pretty sure like it's just good for feedback. Like we just want to know that we're doing a good job. But on that note, if you do give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, we will read it live on the stream. Hopefully that gives you a little bit of an incentive to give us a decent review. But of course, if you don't agree, you can give us a lower review. We're not gonna yell at you. We're not gonna shame you on the podcast or anything. We want to know like, you know, how we can improve, of course, and things like that. Cool. Let's roll the intro and we'll get into it. All right. So, did you get much time to play Marvel this week, Tom?
Not really. Been busy. I've gone back to work on site now, so just been not enough time in the day to smash out some Marvel Snap.
The days of working from home have ended.
Yeah. But yeah, even just, you know, busy weekends and that, it's just hard to find time to play. I don't know. I know like the games are quick, but sometimes I feel like I more prefer having longer, like playing consistently a few games in a row.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me just to pick it up and then drop it off, like play one game and then stop. So I feel I end up just not playing at all. So yeah, unfortunately not as much. And like you said in the intro, I feel like it's just a bit of a lull. Like there's no real incentive to play. The excitement for the new season isn't where I thought it'd be.
It feels weird, doesn't it? Because I was so like the first season pass we got in Australia was new season pass for us was Daredevil, Heroes for Hire, and I was so excited. I remember that day, like as soon as it hit 1 p.m. in Australia, I'm like straight on, buy the season pass, got the card, started playing with it. I was so excited. And then we got Nick Fury, and I was really hyped. And then I saw what the theme was, and I went, okay, yeah, like it's fine. And then we got Nick Fury, and then I played it a bit, and I was like, I don't really know how this card like fits into a deck. So yeah, I feel like the hype is like not as, I don't know, I don't feel as hyped as last season pass. Not to say that I'm not enjoying the game or anything. I'm still playing, doing my daily missions and everything, so still having fun with the game. But yeah, it just feels like there is a bit of a lull. I find it interesting you agree.
I feel like there's not enough
content.
Yeah, it's just the new card, and then play it, do the daily missions and do the season pass missions.
Yeah.
And then there's nothing really, and then you get some credits, you unlock some, you'll level up some cards, maybe unlock some new cards, but then it's just, I don't know, and especially when you get to the higher collection levels, that when those rewards aren't guaranteed, and there's more stuff that you don't really want, there's just less incentive, because every time you get a bad card or you grind for an hour, finally get a cache, and then it's a booster, and you're just like, well, now I just don't want to play again for the next week because it's just frustrating. So
yeah, I don't
know what needs to be. Yeah, I think just there needs to be more. I think
like I always looked at it as a mobile game, and then as time's gone on, I'm like, nah, this could really be like I would definitely play this on my computer when it releases on Steam, because it's like it's easy to play these sort of games on PC, like Hearthstone, things like that, but it's also very suited to mobile that I can play it on my phone. But like now thinking about it and thinking about the economy and everything, it really does feel like a mobile game with the way you get credits. You got to do your daily missions. Like when I do Hearthstone daily missions, like best thing to compare it to, I don't feel like I'm doing daily missions. I just play the game and in turn complete the missions. Whereas I feel like I look at these missions sometimes and go, oh, I need to win a location with only one card. Oh, I will like actively try and do that, even if I might lose that match. If I know I'm gonna win that location, I'll just play it to the end. I won't snap and just try and win, get it. Yeah. So it just feels like it's not like I don't want to say it's a grind, but I guess it's really the only way other than spending money to unlock stuff.
Yeah,
which
you can't just play naturally to unlock stuff. You have to play the way they want you to play based on these missions.
Sometimes, like if it's like I'm currently playing a deck with no 4-cost cards. So when a mission comes up with that, I'm like, oh, okay, I need to change decks now.
Bring out the Dino deck.
Yeah, that's right. Or like, a deck with like 1 to 5, like has all the cost cards.
Yeah.
And it has ways to win those, do those missions.
Yeah, I've done that when I've had a 3-cost card. You normally Cosmo in my deck, where I won't even need to play him, and I'm like, well, if I play him, I'll just get the challenge done.
Yeah. So I think, I think it's just like I'm still enjoying the game. That's the thing. Every time I unlock a really cool card, I'm all of a sudden like junking the game again. So I think there's a discussion to be had about the unlocking cards, and we've been talking about that since the game came out. Everyone's been discussing that since the game came out. I think once the game is fully released, then we'll have a bit more of an idea. But yeah, cool. Let's get into Nick Fury. We've had a week with Nick Fury now. Let's bring him up on the screen for you guys if you're watching the video. So yeah, Nick Fury, 5-cost card, 7 power, which is quite it's a high power to be honest for a 5-cost, which we discussed last week. On reveal, add 3 random 6-cost cards to your hand. So when we got this card, I was trying to fit it in decks, and nothing really seemed to stick as like competitive. What was your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I found it was a hard place to fit it. It was a very just a kind of unique, like it just was sort of on its own. It didn't really like obviously figure like in discard or like that type of just exactly where this would fit.
Yeah,
but I feel like it can have some value in hand size decks, especially with the collector.
Yep.
And I think you mentioned a discard as well, but I think we spoke about it in the pre-show about how you need certain cards of a discard deck to actually make it work.
Yeah, so it's like I think we spoke like the collector is a good. I guess it's like it gives collector +3 straight away, which is fine. Like it works. And it's like a 7-cost card, and you get some random cards in hand that might be useful for your situation.
Yeah,
I think the only like main deck I can see it being used in is like a discard like deck with Hela, which was so you because I was just trying to figure out how that actually works, and then you actually like explained it to me. So it's you explain it because I'm gonna butcher it again.
Oh yeah, so with so you obviously you want to discard with Hela decks. You want to discard throughout the game so you can play Hela turn 6.
Yeah.
But with Nick Fury, if you're playing him turn 5, then chances are you've already discarded most of your cards. But you play Invisible Woman, which doesn't review your cards until the end of the game. So you can play Invisible Woman, play all your discards, play Nick Fury turn 5, and then turn 6 comes.
Yes, got it.
everything gets discarded.
Yeah, that makes
and
sense.
So the cards that Nick Fury spawns in your hand get discarded, which are all 6-cost cards, or chances are they'll get discarded.
Yeah, so they could
But-
be. Yep.
Also can lead to some bad cards getting put on your build.
Well, I guess that's right. It just becomes like they're strong cards. Don't get me wrong. You're playing strong cards with Hela, but it's also just full RNG as well.
Yeah.
Like it's strong RNG. Like most of the time, it's probably going to turn out good, but there's going to be times where it just turns out terrible, and you just I think actually our friend had that. Now, like I'm just thinking about it. He had that situation where he's turn 6, he discarded Ultron. And then Hela pulled out Ultron, and then Ultron filled up all the other locations so it couldn't bring back any other cards, and he just lost because there was just 1/1s at all the locations. Yeah, so I guess you can get pretty bad RNG with that
Another
deck.
example can be Destroyer just wiping your whole board.
Of course, imagine that.
If you're not prepared for
Oh
that.
no, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, just destroy. So I guess it is RNG in the end. But I guess it could be. I think with new cards, Nick Fury could become like really good. The ability is really cool. If there was better ways to discount him, play him earlier, or like him earlier and the 6 costs earlier, I think there's something there. But it is like I feel like it's just a gimmicky card. You're just playing it for fun right now. I can't see anyone like trying to be super competitive with it, which I mean is fine. I don't think every like season pass card has to be broken or anything. Because then I guess the game becomes like sort of pay to win. But yeah. So I think it's just like I think the consensus we had last week when it was first released is the consensus that we still have now.
Nothing's really changed. I don't think.
Is this the first time we've actually got something right? No. Like I've just even on Twitter, on Twitter and like Reddit and stuff, I've just seen people like, hey, I've got this cool Nick Fury cut deck. It works, but it's like there's better decks. Is the sort of thing. Yeah.
Like you can fit it in, but you're not. There's just better things to
just
play.
Put a better, just put a better 5-cost card in there.
Yeah,
that's right.
Literally.
Or the 6-cost card that it would give you. Just play the 6-cost card you actually want. Yeah, that's cool. All right. So general consensus, straight here. You've heard it here first, or you probably heard it everywhere. Infinite Snap podcast. Nick Fury average card. Cool. So Tom, I believe last week you said you were playing like a Destroyer deck. Have you been playing that still?
Still been playing it. I've haven't been playing much, so just literally the same deck I've been playing as last week. I haven't changed anything.
Yeah.
I have unlocked some interesting cards in the last week or so. I've unlocked Leader, which I want to try and build a deck around because I think that's a pretty cool card.
That's a very cool card.
I've unlocked I unlocked actually just for Goose, which I think can work in some decks, but I don't think I really have the cards for that.
Yeah.
But I've also thought about I think I unlocked Kingpin the other day as well.
Cool, yeah.
So I'm thinking, I saw a deck on Reddit, I think it was.
Yeah.
I didn't, not a deck, sorry, just like a screenshot of a game where someone had Juggernaut and Kingpin, and just like to utilize that turn 6, play Juggernaut and move him to where Kingpin is. So
That's
I think that'll
cool.
be something I want to try and make. Because like Juggernaut was my first first pull 3 card. So
Juggernaut was your first pull 3 card.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So. And he was on the Snap Who from last week, which you guessed correctly.
No, it wasn't. Was it Juggernaut?
I'm pretty sure it was Juggernaut. Yeah.
I'm like, did I guess it?
Yeah, no, you got it right, 100%.
That's impressive. Oh yeah, that's right. I was using him in a deck. I remember now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't work out.
So I think I might try and experiment a bit. Because Destroyers, while it's fun and competitive, it's just the same thing over and over again. You just hoping for and I feel like that's kind of the issue because the decks are so small. There's really only one way to win most of the time.
Yeah,
and then you're literally like, I know for Destroyer, I try and hopefully draw, Armor, Warpath.
Yeah, you need them.
Destroyer, and you've kind of pretty much set. You're going to be hard to beat.
But I think like you said, Destroyer, you need. Like, if you don't draw Destroyer, the deck still works, but it's fairly weak. Whereas when you get Destroyer and get that big play, like, you pretty much just win, yeah?
It's almost, it's pretty hard to lose if you get some, like, Armor and most of the Warpath, because Warpath's a pretty strong card.
Yeah.
In this deck.
I think it's like, I think you kind of, I feel like with any deck, if you hit all the cards in the right order, you just, like, generally win.
Yeah,
Like unless both decks
agree.
hit their combos,
Yeah,
they both hit them, and then it's like a really good match. I feel like if one deck hits the combo, one doesn't, it's just like,
yeah.
you just lose. Yeah, I've been playing. I've been playing discard. I just keep playing discard, and I'll tell you why. So I unlocked a really cool card today, and I unlocked Cerebro, and I got really excited. I'm like thinking,
What does that do?
yeah. So Cerebro is I'm trying to think. It's so for each card. Sorry, when you play it, I believe it's a 3-cost card. When you play it, it gives +2 to all your highest cost card. So the strategy is that all the cards you play are the exact same cost, so it gives +2 to all of them.
Okay.
So basically my idea that I had was I've seen a lot of people playing it with 6-cost cards, but I thought I'd try play it with 3-cost cards and try and flood the board. So you play like Sentinel, playing things like Baron, playing like pretty much just 3-cost cards, Wolverine, Swarm, and I'm playing Blade. He's the like 1-cost 3 power, and he can sometimes discard the Swarm or the Wolverine. So it's like a bit of a hybrid deck, but you essentially play all your 3 costs, then you play Cerebro. He's a 0 power, but he gives the highest cost card +3, so all of the +2. So all of those 3 costs go to 5. Yeah. But then if you play Mystique after the Cerebro, that's to 7. They all go to 7. And then turn 6, you play Blue Marvel to give them the +1. So they all essentially become 8 power cards.
Okay.
Your whole board, except the Cerebro and the Mystique. So you can...
Does it work?
So,
is it consistent?
Yeah, so that's the thing. As we were just talking about combos, the deck works when it works, but if you don't draw Cerebro, you're pretty much got a bunch of 3 power cards, and you're going to get them to 4 with Blue Marvel, and it's terrible. So when it works, it works. When it doesn't, it's like I just retreat. Yeah. And so I played 5 games in a row with this deck, and I either lost or had to retreat every single one.
Yeah.
Because I just didn't get Cerebro, or I got like turn 6, I draw Cerebro, but now I can't play Blue Marvel. So it just became that sort of game. And I versed the same guy 3 times in a row, and his deck was just pretty much a straight counter. He would play like Scorpion, and so all the cards in my hand went to 2 power. So now the synergy doesn't work anymore. So it is a very interesting deck, but it was super inconsistent. So I played 5 games with that deck, lost all of them or had to retreat. Then I played 3 games with my discard Swarm, and I 8 cubed all 3 games. Or they retreated before turn 6, because it was just straight up like that's it. They see the Apocalypse, 20 power Apocalypse, give me the free cubes. And I think that the difference was it was just consistency. The discard Swarm deck, I just discard even when I'm not discarding Swarm. Like every game, like it's just that you're playing big guys like 6 power Swordmaster, 4 power 2 costs. Like they're all like strong cards, and then you like finish it off with like a crazy play. Wong, Mystique, do some crazy stuff. Yeah, Gambit, just wipe their board. So yeah, I think it's... Yeah, I was having fun. I got really excited, and now I'm not as excited about Cerebro.
Yeah. No, like it's fun to try those things, but then when it just doesn't work, it's just disappointing, because you know that it's... When it works, it's so good and so strong, but then it just doesn't often enough. And I've got experience with that in Pokemon, so...
well, yeah, I knew it wasn't going to be like a tier 1 deck or anything, but I thought it would like at least churn out some wins. I'm probably going to keep playing it. I'll probably test it a bit more, but yeah, it was kind of average. Cool. So other news in like a gameplay this week, we had pretty much every week now we're getting 2 featured locations, which is good. Gives us something to talk about.
I think it's one new, one
one new.
old.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's been the theme for like I guess the last month at least, if not like as long as we've been playing. So this week's new location was the Triskelion. It was a lot of controversy around this location. So actually, I should bring up what it says so I don't misquote what it actually does. Oh no, where did I put it? I actually because I'll just completely say the wrong thing. It's so simple. So it's fill each player's hand with random cards. So if you've got like 3 cards in your hand, the other 4 cards just get filled with random cards. And I mean, it's a pretty crazy RNG like location. If you get it like turn 1, it's like, oh, I need to play cards now to draw from my deck. So you're still getting cards from your deck, but you just all of a sudden have all these random cards, which could change your strategy. You could get like Hela in your discard deck. Like I don't have Hela. If she throws into my hand, I just auto win. Um, but like, yeah, so there was some crazy synergies and stuff, which is fun. It is lots of fun. The location. I didn't have any issue with it. Like I didn't have any major issue with it, but I did see on Twitter a lot of people annoyed. Content creators, like just like casual players, just everyone was kind of like, I get this location, and then I get all these random cards. I'm trying to play this cool new deck. I got this new card, and like every third game, I get this stupid location. I can't play the deck. And I don't know. What was your thoughts on on this location?
I thought it was fine. Like, it didn't bother me too much. Like, I didn't play it enough. Like, when it came out, like, I played it. I didn't play the game much. So, but I did notice, yeah, you just get your hand full, and then you felt like you had to play stuff just to get your deck out.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like it was not as annoying as, there's one, like, I think it's Weird World, where you just get a whole new deck.
Yeah.
So it's not like that annoying where you just can't play with the deck you've got.
Yeah.
And like sometimes you get a card that you think, oh, this is really good, and just works with you.
Yeah.
I feel like this would be good with a hand-sized deck, just because your hand's instantly filled.
Good point.
But also, if you don't already have Dino in hand, it just limits the amount of cards you're trying to draw. And then, because also you're playing like, Sentinel and, other cards that get cards back into your hand. So then your hand's always full. You can't draw more to get what you need. So I guess it could work, but
I think generally you can get around the not drawing cards. Like, as long as you're playing something that doesn't add cards to your hand.
Yeah.
I think probably the only, like, not the only deck, but it did really, I guess it really buffed like a hand-sized deck, essentially, which is fine. But yeah, it was, I don't know, I think it was just a bit, it's RNG, and of course card games have RNG, but Marvel Snap can have a lot of RNG.
Yeah.
What cards you draw, the locations can be wacky. You can end up, like you said, the Weird World location, you just replace your deck with random cards. Like, I can't really think of a trading card game with that much crazy abilities. Like Hearthstone has abilities where you pick like from a random few cards, but it's not to the extent where your entire deck becomes random. So I think people that are coming from like traditional trading card games or other digital card games, they don't like too much RNG, because then the game can become very like, who got the better cards?
Literally.
I think
I can see that.
You find a lot of like people like that play chess and things like that. They enjoy these sort of like strategy card games. I find like a lot of like Hearthstone players love chess, and so I guess a game like that where it is entirely skill based, like there's zero chance in chess, having that much RNG can really put people off. I saw some people like really, really mad about it, and I don't share that same thing, but I guess I can understand it. Do you kind of...
Yeah, I get where they're coming from, but also I think the fact that the games are so short, it's not that big of a deal. Like, you play for 2 minutes, you think, oh, this is shit, and then you either retreat or just play it out, because sometimes the RNG is in your favor.
Of course, I guess it's exactly that point.
That's the point of RNG.
It's not going to be you get the worst cards, they get the best cards every time. I think the main argument was I don't get to play the cool deck that I've made. And I guess for content creators, it can be annoying, because if you want to make content for a specific deck and you get the Triskelion come up every time, I saw an argument. So someone said it shouldn't be more than 8 hours the featured location, and I kind of explained, well, for people that live like in Australia, if it's like in the US, we literally won't play it. So I said minimum has to be 24 hours. And they made a point of like they should just make it like a separate game mode, which I think would...
I agree with that.
Yeah, which I think a lot of people would agree with. I think right now in beta, that it would just split up. There'd just be more bots, because there'd be no...
Literally. Yes. I feel the player base is too small to start separating it,
Yes. For every new game mode you have, that's less players in your like ranked game mode or your main game mode. But I do hope that in the future, like I think of like Valorant, for instance, when there's a new map, which obviously isn't very frequent, but when there is a new map, they have like a playlist where you just play that map.
Yeah.
But it's not in the ranked.
Well.
Yeah, it's unranked. Yeah. It's not, so you can learn the map, but it's not going to, I guess, diminish your main experience of the game.
Yeah.
So maybe something like that, where they can just do like, oh, every single game you get this location, so you can practice, and then when it goes into the ranked rotation, you know what to do. Yeah, I think that could work.
I feel like that's a bit different comparing like a Valorant map, because this is literally just one location out of 2 out of 3.
Yeah,
it's not the same. And obviously, it's not the same level as Valorant. It's completely different, but
It's not 45
get-
minutes of your life.
yeah, it's not 45 minutes of your life to end in disappointment. It's only 2 minutes
Yeah.
in this instance. But yeah, you know, I feel like, yeah, I guess it'd be good to just have a mode that says, oh, this location will, like exactly how they have it now, this will feature more frequently.
Yes.
And then just have the normal, but then also, yeah, it does split the base a bit.
I think when the game is more popular and it comes out of beta, then it'll be fine. I think then it'll be like they could do something like that. We'll see. We'll see what happens anyway. And then the other featured location we had was Titan, which is I'll just bring it up because I'm gonna misquote it again. So it is 6 cost cards cost 1 less. So we discussed this in the pre-show, but straight away, we already know why this location was featured. You play Nick Fury on turn. Oh wait, hang on. This is not what I discussed. I said that this was so the cards. Sorry, yeah. If you get Nick Fury out early, and your 6 cost cards cost 1 less, you can play one on turn 5, play one on turn 6, which is what we were saying. So like if there's like a
you just need like Elysium or something.
Yeah, like you literally. Oh well, not even that. You could have like
Wave.
like Jubilee can get it out, Wave can get it out. Yeah, that's exactly right. So I guess this location made Nick Fury like more playable.
Yeah,
sort of.
I spoke about this with you the other day. About Iceman getting a card to 7 cost.
Oh yeah, we will discuss that. We'll go through Nick Fury and then we'll go through we'll go through your question that I didn't want to discuss it like too much. I thought we could do it on the podcast so I could like I like to like of course we like to plan, but I like to also have like a not pre-planned discussion too, which most of it is, I guess, to be fair. So 6 cost cards, 1 less. You can play Wave's turn 3, play Nick Fury, and you get 2 chances to play 6 cost cards. I guess it helped other decks too, of course. Like I had some scenarios today where I had the location where it pulls on turn 5, it plays a card from your hand. No, sorry. I had Titan. I was able to play Big Boy Apocalypse on turn 5, and then I was able to play Chavez on turn 6, which was like kind of cool. But yeah, it's it's hit and miss, I guess.
I feel like this is one of the ones that just doesn't really make too much of it. If you're fortunate enough to have 2 6 cost cards that you can play both,
yeah,
it just advantages you. If you don't, then you're disadvantaged. Like it's just one of those things.
Yeah. So let's talk about the scenario you had with this location because it was quite interesting. Walk us through it.
Okay, so pretty much what happened was Titan made all my 6 cost cards 5. So I had. Who do I have in hand now that I think about it? I think it was Destroyer, actually. So Destroyer becomes 5 cost. Then the opponent plays Iceman.
So 5 cost
puts him
plays Iceman, which makes it 6.
6 cost.
Yes.
And then, so with Iceman, if you're familiar with it,
I'll bring it up. But yes,
it says you can't go. Iceman can't. It affects all cards except for.
So it adds. I'll bring it up, but it increases.
I know what it does, but I don't know the exact term.
It increases. It gives a random card. I've just got it up. We can just read exactly what it says. Give a random card in your opponent's head plus 1 cost, but in brackets it's a maximum of 6, so it can't go to 7.
So this is how I understand how the game works in this scenario. So Iceman ability reveals, and then so it goes. Okay, which card has less than 6? So they found the random card was.
Well, no. So it doesn't actually find a card that's less than 6. If it finds a 6 cost card, it doesn't go.
Doesn't go to 7.
Oh, but actually, sorry. Yeah, your question's actually interesting because if there is another option that's not a 6 cost, does it choose the other option? Trying to think.
Yeah, no, I think it must. I think it must ignore it.
I'm trying to think.
Iceman's always gone off.
Yeah,
every time it's happened.
I don't think it's ever hit a 6 cost card in my hand. So
because it can't. So I think it just ignores them.
Possibly. Yeah, you might be right. You're probably right. That makes sense.
Destroyer had 5 cost at the time. So then it went to 6.
Yep.
But then the opponent played Scarlet Witch on Titan.
Yep.
And turned it to another location. So 6 cost cards don't cost 1 less anymore. So it went up to 7. So I just thought it was interesting how the debuff was applied, but then the rule for the debuff just didn't apply anymore because it already was applied. I think that's the logic that the game uses.
So
that at the time of the debuff, it was a 5 cost card.
Yes.
But now
it's more a buff if it was a 5 cost. Oh no, you're saying Iceman's debuff. Yeah.
Iceman's the
nerf, I guess.
The debuff.
Yeah.
And then because now it's still considered it's 1 cost less. It was just a weird, but I think the logic makes sense.
So
to me.
Yes, I get what you're saying now. So it does the on reveal. It goes to 6 cost. Then the location changes, so the rule doesn't apply anymore, and it goes to 7 cost. I think that is the intended way for it to work, and my reasoning for that is the location. There's a location that makes a random card in your hand cost 1 more, and that doesn't have that maximum of 6 restriction. Yeah. So that has made my Apocalypse cost 7. And if I didn't get a Dracula out, I just literally couldn't play the card. So I think, I guess Iceman, they've tried to make Iceman quite balanced in that it's a 1 cost card. If it made a card unplayable in your hand, that'd be broken as. They'd have to make that like a 4-5 cost card
because
at least.
Literally, if I know you're playing Apocalypse, like you've got this like 24 power Apocalypse, and I have Iceman that can make that a 7 cost card, and you just can't play it. Everyone would be playing it because it'd be so much more powerful. So this makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. So I think that is because it's very interesting because the game's in beta, and we see on Reddit and Twitter like all these supposed bugs, and then I see on like Twitter a lot like Ben Brode will like actually confirm that they're bugs. So it's kind of hard to tell sometimes because we don't. I guess there's not a rule book. Like it's not like a traditional card game where you can get like I know Magic the Gathering have like this massive document of like intricate rules. Like of course you've got like your play guide which teaches you all the rules of the game, but then there's like I guess like a judge's book that can give you the intricacies of like interactions and turns. We don't have that for this game. No. So I guess everything is how we interpret, and we've had arguments with our friends on how things should work. Like we spoke on the podcast a few weeks ago about Swarm going down to a 0 cost. How come you can't play it at the location where you can't play 1, 2, and 3 costs? It's not a 1, it's not a 2, it's not a 3. It's now a 0, but the game's logic is based on its original cost. Yeah. And I guess there's going to be.
I think it's just exactly what you're about to say.
There's just going to be arguments about it until you are given like an official, I guess, confirmation of how it is supposed to work, which we have been getting, which has been good. Yeah.
And I feel like you can't really. Like, you can make arguments for and against how this should work, I feel, because you could also say, well, it shouldn't make, once it goes back to a 6 cost, the debuff shouldn't apply and then just get cancels out, so it's always a 6 cost. But also, I think the logic sound that at the time that Iceman was played,
your card was 5 cost.
The card was 5 cost. It was valid. But then we look at it from the other perspective where with Swarm, the location took it fundamentally as it was still a 3 cost card and not a 0 cost. So it's
such a good point.
It seems like different rules apply to locations, I feel.
Yeah.
So I feel just the way it's coded, it's not a hard and fast, this card will always be a 3 cost, doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah. So like it's like you
just everything is just applied in different scenarios, and I don't know if that's the intention or there's so much going on that they just haven't had time to think about it.
So I think I've seen it confirmed that the way Swarm works is intended with that location. I'm trying to remember what the location's called, but it would make more sense logically. You just whatever the cost of the card is, that is what the game sees the card as. Like in this case, that's what it's done. It's seen it as currently it costs 5, it goes to 6. And then the buff to the discount on the cost disappears, so it goes to 7. But then with Swarm, it's like, well, no, this used to be a 2 cost card, and that's what we're going to see it as. So I think it is how they intend it to work. But I can see where the confusion arises, especially if you're not coming from like a trading card game. You just straight up be like, well, the game's broken, it doesn't work.
Yeah. I definitely feel like locations treat cards differently than other cards do.
Yeah, which I think we've come to that conclusion for sure. So. Well, we've got some big Marvel Snap news. If you're like in the Marvel Snap community and like you've probably already heard this news, but it is really big news for I guess people that are new people that want to play Marvel Snap and are coming to the game. Of course, that news is that the game is going full launch out of beta. I've been referring to everything throughout the cast as when it's out of beta, but we know that it is going worldwide launch on the 18th of October. So that is just over a month away from the date of this podcast, which is really exciting. We haven't really gotten any other news other than it is going full worldwide launch out of beta. I'm assuming there'll be some big patches before that to get it ready because there's still like some a few things not working perfectly with the game. It's very, very interesting what's going to happen when it goes worldwide launch, but I'm excited for more people to play. You excited, Tom?
Yeah,
definitely. Excited that we're getting, I guess, new players into the game. The player base will widen. More people, I guess, absorbing content as well, which I guess is great for the podcast. There will be, because I feel like right now our audience is, I think any audience for any Marvel Snap content creators is quite small in comparison to other games. Especially like you get other games in beta that are super popular because I guess they're like worldwide betas, whereas this is a very select few countries and people that signed up for the beta. So way less people, I guess.
Yeah, and it's hard to get excited and watch videos on stuff you just can't play.
For sure.
Because you're just not going to be interested in watching other people do stuff, and you're like, well, I could be playing that, but I just physically can't get it.
I've had people like, that have like watched YouTube videos and been like, oh, this game's really cool. And then the podcast nothing makes sense to them because they can't actually physically go into the game and like check this stuff out. Like it just makes sense. Like if I'm listening to a podcast about a sport and I can't physically watch the sport, then what am I going to listen to it for? So very excited for that. I mean, it's good for the podcast, but it's just great for the Marvel Snap community in general. Even on like Twitter and stuff, I'm like interacting with a lot of like Marvel Snap content creators. There's just not a large number of us yet. So it'll be good. Like it'll be good to have fresh content creators as well coming to the game, and fresh people absorbing Marvel Snap, playing the game, and it means we get to verse more people. That's always a good thing. More players to play against. So Tom, my question today is, what do you think we will get with the full release that we don't have right now on day one, October 18th?
Day one. I would like. This is more of like. Do we want to do a wish list or do we want to do what I genuinely think will actually come?
Do both. Do your wish list and then what you think will get day one.
So wish list, I think wish list would be a new way to unlock cards. Yeah. Maybe not a new way to unlock cards. Maybe an easier way to get cards you want, like we've spoken about. Maybe you can pick a few cards you want, or you can have like a wish list of cards where there's like a increased chance of getting them. Something to be able to be in control of what you're unlocking and when you unlock it.
Yeah.
So that's what I'd like. I think
for sure.
Probably just like a separate competitive and casual game mode.
Yep.
I think that's probably a bit but then I feel like also the snapping is like the key of point. So like we've talked about this like if you're not snapping for cubes, what's the point of playing? But I guess you can just make a mode just to mess around with decks. Like you don't really need the snapping mechanic.
Yeah, I think
if you know, because everyone going into it will know that this is just just a casual game. So you can just play random decks. You can play new cards. Try stuff out, which I think will probably be worth it. I do think we will get that in the full release. I think that just makes sense logically because I feel like almost every game has a casual and a competitive playlist.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting one that you say. Like you think you're saying we'd definitely get it, but I feel like without the cube mechanic, which is essentially as we discussed last week, like a gambling mechanic. Obviously not with money, but in the game you're like doubling down on if you're going to win or not to rank up and lose rank points. I feel like with a casual mode, if you just remove the snapping mechanic, that's like the core part. Other than the cards, that is the core mechanic in the game.
Yeah.
So it's just a really interesting one. The game is called Marvel Snap. So it's just it's a very interesting one. I think my theory is, and I've kind of realized this over the last week or two, I was like junking the game to try and rank up and hit infinite rank. And then when I did it, I felt like, why did I grind so hard for this? Right now in beta, it doesn't feel like hitting infinite is like this big, like, oh, look at me, I hit infinite, I'm so good at the game. It was more just like, I've been playing the same deck and not really having fun to try and like get this like imaginary, like, I guess, status Like,
Yeah.
whereas now I'm just playing fun decks, and I'm still like ranking up, but I'm not just like I would lose games. I'd like lose 8 cubes and be like, stuff this game. This game sucks. But I, like in the end, like it's all learning experience. I gotta just tell myself, the games I lose, I just try and I learn and don't make that mistake again. Now that I'm playing random fun decks, I'm not winning as much and I'm not ranking up as fast, but I'm having fun again. And I'm kind of like I started the season at 70 and I'm at like 76. I'm doing my missions, playing fun games. I've gone up like 6 levels, but in the scheme of things, we've still got like 3 weeks, like towards the end of the season. To be honest, now that they've got the cool card back, the infinite rank card back, you get this cool shiny Hydra card back. Now I feel incentivized to actually get there.
Yeah, I feel like it was a bit, I don't know, a bit weird that not weird, like I feel like they probably shouldn't have taken it out of the season pass because I feel like not everyone's going to hit infinite to get them.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because if they
There's
don't...
another thing taking out, like another cosmetic taken out of the season pass.
Hear me out here, and this is what Hearthstone did. They had exclusive card backs that you could only get, not hitting infinite actually, to be fair, like not hitting max rank, but you had to play like 5 games every season to get the special card back. And then later on in Hearthstone's life, you could just start buying the card backs for a couple of dollars each. So all of a sudden it was like, I can just, like, if I didn't play these seasons, I can just buy them now. So they could always introduce them as cosmetics. Yeah. I'm not trying to give them ideas to monetize more stuff, but it is one of those things that I guess, like, they haven't actually said that these are exclusive rewards. Like, you hit infinite, you get this. I'm sure down the track they could re-release these skins.
Just bring it back, yeah.
Bring the, like, maybe you get it in another season pass or you get it in a collector's case or something. I would rather get a card back in a case than boosters.
Oh, boosters need to go.
Give me a card back over boosters. My quick booster story here. Opened a collector's case today. Really excited. 40 boosters. Ah, so happy. Like, it's like
I feel like boosters when I first started playing were like gold. I'm like, oh yes, I love boosters because I can't unlock any cards. Boosters. Now I've got about 30 cards ready to unlock. I just don't have enough credits for them. Dude, it's the complete opposite problem.
My Chavez was like is at like 400 boosters, and I keep upgrading other cards, and then I go like, man, I've got all these Chavez. I just need like a Chavez variant now to actually use all these boosters. Yeah, it's that's another entire discussion. But I guess that is a discussion for a full release. Do you think boosters are going anywhere?
Unfortunately,
unfortunately, no.
Because they got to overhaul the whole system.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Probably a lot of work.
Yeah,
but the time to do it would be the worldwide release and the official release.
That's true.
But I'm not hopeful for that.
So follow on from that, any changes to monetization with full release? Do you think maybe variants will be cheaper or any changes?
I don't think they'll be cheaper. I think there might be, like you said, maybe card backs they might introduce, maybe avatars. They could even introduce some, because they've got just really basic avatars. Maybe they'll do, alt-art avatars.
What? Yeah, animated ones. What about like voiceovers? Voiceovers for the, like, when the game starts.
Yeah,
your character says something.
That'd be I do what you mean. We know what you're saying.
Or like when you emote.
Realistically, there's so much stuff there.
Imagine when you emote, like you get different like Hearthstone do something similar where you get, so like you've currently got hello and like in Rocket League you play a lot. You can change the things you say.
What a save.
You can what a save. Same thing in Hearthstone. You can change when you change your character, it changes the voice of your emotes. So you could have I guess like Marvel characters in voiceover.
That would be pretty cool, yeah.
It is. I guess it's probably a lot more work like for the dev team having to record people and things like that. But I guess they could also do things like that. But I in my opinion, none of this is going to come with the full release. I reckon this is like 2 years, 3 years down the track.
Because I think at this point they got to just focus on getting the gameplay,
get the game out,
100%.
Good game modes, things like that. So yeah, new game modes. Do you think there'll be any so you've already said you think there possibly like some casual,
maybe private matches as well.
Yeah, that's a big one.
I feel like just being able to play with friends and like we've said, having some sort of tournament you want to make, competition you want to make.
Yeah.
You've got to have the private match system just to be able to play someone
for sure. I think you and I love testing decks for different trading card games, and like we will sit there for hours just playing the same decks against each other to figure out how you win that matchup. And I think being able to do that in Marvel Snap could be valuable. Like if I want to practice my deck against, let's say I'm trying to think of a deck now. Let's say I want to practice against a Hella discard deck. Now, if I play against Hella discard once every week, or then how am I ever going to learn how to win that matchup with my specific deck? So I guess, definitely a way to play against friends. And like you said, we could, if we were sitting here, you know, I'm like, say we're one evening after work, we would just talk to each other and be like, hey, you want to play like a card game? And we'd test for a couple of hours, and that's our evening, you know? Like if I could do that with Marvel Snap, that'd be like a ton of fun, I reckon.
And I also think the Marvel Snap's probably a bit different in that regard as well, because the matchups will always be different.
Yeah.
It's not going to be your deck versus my deck. It's going to be your deck versus my deck plus 3 different locations every time.
Yeah, true.
So sometimes my location will be better for me. Sometimes it'll be better for you. Sometimes it won't help either of us.
What about like you can set the locations for like to practice?
You can, but then playing it,
you'll never get those 3.
You'll never get those 3 locations.
True. That's a terrible idea.
So, I do think if you do a private match, you should have the option of doing random locations or doing set locations or something like that.
You have said that previously, like a band system, or like you choose one location from out of like, let's say 3. I choose a location and then we get a random one. That was an interesting idea you had. Okay, so play with friends. We already discussed that. It's funny. I actually. A good friend of ours, I was like on my way to work. I'm like, I'll play a quick game before I start. And I click play, and all of a sudden I see my friend's gamer tag as my opponent. And I went, is that actually him? Or is like a bot stealing people's usernames now? And we played out the game, and then we both instantly like messaged each other GG, and we both snapped straight away. That's our rule. We verse each other. You snap, play to the end. I did end up winning, just saying. But he kind of knew by like turn 6 that he probably wasn't going to win anyway. His Hella discarded his Hella brought back a Hulk and a Death and Hulk and played them at the same location. It was the worst. So I just let him win that location. I won the other 2. But that was heaps of fun. We got to play one game of Marvel Snap against each other, and we were like talking about it for like the next 20 minutes. Like, this was a cool play, and like, I wish we could play again. So I think being able to like verse friends, and I believe there was some talk early on in the beta that they were working on something like that. So full release, that'd be really cool. I think like we could do like a stream where we play like 1 hour and we see who gets the most cubes against each other. Yeah. Like I know people are doing like Cube Rush now. Marvel Snap Zone are doing like Cube Rush where everyone plays and everyone races to get as many cubes as they can in an hour. But it's like everyone's at different ranks. Everyone's like, if I'm in Infinite and you're at like someone else is at rank 10, generally, like hypothetically, it should be easier for them, like of players of the same skill, it should be easier for them to get cubes. So I think it's a good compromise for now to have like, I guess like a fun like tournament sort of thing. But some actual tournament support would be really cool. Now, a big thing with a full release, we're going to have lots of new players. How do you think it's going to affect the meta and like the game, I guess in general, and the meta? Like we're playing decks right now that we consider good or bad, but we do have a lot of bots in the game. There's like no doubt there's like plenty of bots in the game. Do you think it will affect like how good and bad certain decks are, or like what the meta even is?
I think just more people into the game, there'll probably just be more ideas and more people making decks.
Yeah.
I don't think the meta will change too much because I feel like cards are all there, so people like realistically a lot of people are going to make the best decks or the best type of decks. And I still feel like the randomness of it, the amount of people you're playing, it's hard to build a deck just to counter. Like it's not like Pokemon where you go to an event and you know Mew's going to be predominantly played, so you know I can build a deck just to counter that.
And like
for sure. My bets. So I feel like it's a bit different in that regard. So I think just the types of decks will just be pretty much the same. I don't think it's going to change too much really, unless they bring in new cards.
Yeah.
I think the people who are really into card games most likely already playing.
Yeah, for sure. If it's in their region, that's the thing.
If it's in their region, yeah.
I've seen like tons of.
I definitely think there'll be more people getting into it.
Testing.
Probably change. There'll probably be a few more random things coming out. But I think that's just with any game, there's always going to be something, old cards that just don't get played, that just suddenly become in the meta because someone thought, okay, let's try with this, and just works.
Yeah, for sure.
So I just think, I don't think it'll be specific for becoming its own a full release. I think it's just going to be just the longevity of the game, the longer it goes on, the more the cards are out, the more things people are going to come up with. Because like we said, people get bored playing the same thing over and over again. So they're going to try and tinker with it and try and make it better.
Yeah, for sure. So I semi-agree, but then I also sort of disagree. I agree that like the good decks will still be good decks. Like obviously, even against bots, we know what a powerful deck looks like when it can put up big numbers. But I think with more real players, the whole like snap mechanic will come into play more. And I feel like it will be harder to get like 8 cubes as often as we are now. Like sometimes bots just do the dumbest thing and it's just a free 8 cubes. Whereas if I'm playing against a real player who understands the game, they're going to retreat at 1 or 2 cubes or even at worst case 4. So there's not going to be as many games where I can get 8 cubes. And then if I'm going from, like, say I'm a new player and I'm starting at like rank 20 or whatever you start at, 10 or whatever. I don't entirely remember. Even if you start at 30, that's like 70 rank floors at 10 cubes. Like, what is it? 10 cubes per rank floor. That's what, 700 cubes? Is that right? I did that math right, yeah? Yeah, for sure. Wait. 10 cubes. 10 cubes times 10 is 100? Yeah, 700 cubes.
Yeah.
So let's you're so unsure.
No, 70 cubes.
What?
No.
Okay. You've cooked it. So let's assume
I've definitely cooked it. No, I've cooked
700 cubes.
Cooked it. Yeah.
Let's just assume you start at rank 1, you got to get to rank like 100. It's like around like 1,000 cubes, yeah. I think when you go from like rank, like let's say 79 to like 80, you skip to 81. So I guess you skip 1. So I guess it's less than 1,000 cubes, but it's a damn hell of a lot of cubes. And so I guess if you're only getting like a couple of cubes each game, that's a lot of games that you have to play to hit infinite, yeah? So I feel like the dynamic of the rank system is going to change a bit. Last thing I want is a game where I have to play like 500 to 1,000 matches a month to actually hit the max rank. That would feel pretty bad. So I hope if that is the case, that it gets like way harder to hit the max rank. I'd hope that they maybe adjust it a little bit. In my opinion, I feel like at least, let's say, of the player base, like let's say like the Americas or like Oceania or whatever, I'd say like 10,000 people at max rank, in my opinion, would be like I guess a max rank. Like obviously you don't want just everyone in the game can hit it, but I feel like like there's got to be a decent sized number. Like if it's only like 500 people can hit infinite each season now, it's gonna be like, well, that's pretty like. It'd be cool if you hit it for sure, but if you're giving away a card back for everyone that hits infinite, I feel like it has to be semi-attainable for someone who plays, I guess, like regularly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do
think
ranking up will be harder, and I think the decks will change a bit. I feel like there will be decks that we think are really good because they just beat bots all the time. That won't be as good, but I don't think it's going to be like all of a sudden the best decks are going to be terrible. I definitely agree with you in that sense. Cool. My next note was will getting infinite be harder, and I already kind of spoke about that. What's your thoughts on that? You agree?
Yeah, no, I think it definitely will get harder.
Yeah.
Just because more players playing, more people playing. So, like you said, harder to retreat.
Yeah.
With cubes and whatnot, bots aren't going to be snapping.
Yeah, that's
left,
right.
right, and center. It's going to be people are going to be actually retreating and doing everything they can to not lose their cubes. So
yeah, that's right.
will definitely be harder, I feel.
Yeah, for sure. I think that'll be a big change. If I was about to say I didn't even like touch on what I think they will add. I pretty much agree with you. Hope there's like verse friends, things like that. New rank modes would be cool. Even like wacky fun game modes where rank doesn't matter, but like you can just do some like crazy stuff. Even that would be fine. Just something if you're having a bad streak and you just want to do something else, but you still want to play Marvel Snap. I think that can be cool. Yeah. So
at the moment you crack the shits and then you're like,
oh man,
I either keep losing or just don't play. And
that's right.
I don't think they want people not to play. So
I've tilted. I've only thrown my phone at something twice since the release of Marvel Snap. I haven't broken the phone yet, which is good. I want to get a fold. I want to get a Samsung Fold anyway. So I'm trying to kill my iPhone. But I've only thrown it twice and I haven't broken anything. But I've gotten so tilted, and I try not to tilt in games. But there's been games where I've lost 8 cubes and then I'm just full tilt mode and I just go lose 8 cubes. I just snap like I'm like turn 5, like chances I win are probably like 10%, and I just keep doing it because I'm trying to chase my losses. And exactly.
Gambling.
And literally gambling cubes. But like you said, I think any platform is trying to keep you on the platform, keep you playing the game. So I definitely think they need some other game modes to like help with tilt, I guess. In Hearthstone, if I'm losing at Constructed, like I'll just go play Battlegrounds because I don't really care if I win or lose. I just I have fun playing the game mode. It's like it's like the break, like from the main game. You know what I mean? Cool. So, I said we on one of the really like first or second episode we discussed our favorite variants in Marvel Snap, and that's kind of where we left it. We didn't really talk about artwork. We haven't really spoken about artwork since, but I think artwork is like a massive part of the Marvel Snap game. Like when you think about it, the entire game is based off a comic book company. Of course, they do entertainment and movies and stuff now, but I mean, it started off, I guess, like with comic books being their main main thing, and so art is like just a huge art and storytelling is like a huge part of Marvel. So of course you want to have some cool art in a comic books like video game. And I think they've done a really good job with it. What's your thoughts on the artwork in the game, like specifically the cards?
Yeah, I think it's obviously really well done. A lot of the cards, just even the standard cards, look really good. The variants look really cool. This might be an unpopular opinion, but I do not like the 8-bit cards.
You don't like the what cards? Oh, the 8-bit cards. Oh,
not a fan. I don't know. Ooh, I don't see them much in game. Like I don't know if they're just rare to get even in the shop.
Yeah.
But just not a fan. I think the actual don't get me wrong. I'm sure there's a lot of work that goes into it. I'm not trying to diss the work that goes into it, but I just feel like the more realistic cards, I think I prefer them.
Yeah,
realistic art style looks probably a bit better.
That's fair. So you like I'm trying to think of those. So like the Sword Master, there's like a really cool realistic Sword Master variant. Okay, so you like the realism sort of art.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. That's cool. I think I don't know. The 8-bit stuff, I kind of get where you're coming from because there's some really bad 8-bit variants. I've seen some that I'm like looking at it, I'm like, that's just a pixelated mess. Like, no offense to the artists and everything. Like, of course, pixelated art is like 8-bit art is pixels. So, of course, it's not super high def images or anything. That is, I guess, the theme. So, it's not that it's bad art or anything. It's just, if it's hard for me to make out what the character is, to me, it's kind of like, well, why would I want artwork that doesn't showcase what I'm playing?
Yeah.
I've seen plenty of people that absolutely love the 8-bit cards, which is really cool. I'm glad that people like. We all, it's funny, art is subjective. No one's ever you're never gonna get the entire, any group of people to all agree on one piece of artwork. So I definitely think that is a fair take on the 8-bits. I think my favorite group of variants, that's actually really tough. I'm trying to think, like a set. What's a set that I like? You know what? I don't even know. I've actually, do you know? I do know. No, I lied. I do know. There's these really cool, cartoon style ones, and I actually, I follow the person on Twitter who actually did the artwork for them, and I'll definitely have to find them. I'll find them on Twitter. I'll make sure that they get a shout out for the artwork. I've got this really cool cartoon apocalypse. We'll actually bring all these up now that we're discussing it. We might as well take a look at some of them. If you're watching the podcast, you can get some visuals. So, what was yours that you were a fan of?
I think mine was the same that you just said. The cartoon apocalypse.
Is it this apocalypse? Let's bring up old apocalypse. This one.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is I actually love this artwork.
I think I like it because it looks like a kid's drawn it.
Yeah, but dude,
it's a kid's idea, but then it's funny because it's apocalypse. It's just such a funny contrast.
Yeah.
It's like a fun little drawing, but it's like this big card.
It's actually so cool. I will send you the account of the artist who does this. He's actually like a fairly well-known artist. I think his name's Dan. I really need to find it. I'll find it later. I don't want to scroll through Twitter right now. And this is his full art style. This is his jam.
Yeah.
And then he's been commissioned to do a bunch of Marvel Snap artwork. And it's really cool. And we'll go through some more variants that we like. my thing that we were discussing earlier in the pre-show was that I feel like when we play trading card games, there's always a little like illustrated by, and it has the artist's name. And I feel like Marvel Snap is currently missing that. I don't know how the contract, like the commissioning works and contracts and things like that. But even like maybe like obviously not on the card, like you don't want to like take away from the artwork and the card itself. But like when you open the card, like in the menu, even not even in game. Let's say you're in your menu building a deck, even just like a little box in the bottom corner, like just saying who illustrated it would be really cool. I feel like giving credit to artists is always I feel necessary. Maybe not necessary, but I feel like people should always be given credit for their work. So
no, 100% agree.
Yeah, like and in this case, especially if it's like they've literally drawn this, like it's not like they've, there's been a bunch of people that have worked on something. It's like this is your artwork. Like I guess there's arguments for like of course there's arguments for like free use of things and stuff, but this is like you've paid someone for this. I guess if you pay someone for something, it gets into all like legal stuff, and like if you've paid, in the contract, if it said like you pay it and you now own it, I guess there's an argument that they don't. Like, obviously they don't have to, because otherwise they would be doing something illegal, which I would definitely say they're definitely not. And to be honest, now that I think about it, Hearthstone is the same. Like I don't ever remember being able to read who created a piece of artwork in game. So maybe it's just like a commonplace thing in the industry. But yeah,
maybe
I guess
it's just physical card games that
like kind of maybe that's just like they're kind of.
I think most of them are in-house as well.
I feel like
I don't know if that's the same situation here. I think we're just speculating, but
I actually don't know about the in-house thing. I think of Pokemon, and I've seen so many different names on Pokemon cards, Magic cards. I don't actually know if that's correct, that a lot of it's in-house. I know most of this was all like a lot of Marvel Snap art was like external artists. I've seen tweets from like art companies, individuals that are like, "Hey, I made this cool artwork for Marvel Snap." I'm like, "Oh, that's cool. Like, that's really, really cool that like they're like, I guess, getting other companies, they're outsourcing some of the work, because if they weren't, we would be getting the same art styles from the specific artists. So I think it's cool that
contrast with
we're getting different stuff. Like what's another? Was it actually? Sorry, I'm a liar. I know what my favorite variant that I have is. I'm such a liar. It's not the Apocalypse. It's this.
Ooh, yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is so cool. I unlocked it and I'm like straight in my discard deck. Yeah, that's some nice artwork. I actually don't know who created this, but it's whoever it is, it's damn good. Yeah, I love that like evil vampire, like it's pretty sick. The like dark red eyes, like comparing that to the like real cartoony, like this is the
I still like that
cartoony base card. It's definitely cool. But like when you said the whole realism thing, like that's just like straight up, like it's not like full super realism, but it's like you compare it to things like this, which are obviously like, comic book inspired, etc. Definitely some cool artwork there. Trying to think, is there any other? I think you said. I
had a cool Angela one.
Yeah, you had a cool Angela one.
That was like a little cartoon as well.
Yes, I actually have that Angela as well. This one, yeah?
That one, yeah.
I actually have this Angela as well. It is very cool.
I don't know what that reminds me of. It reminds me of something.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like it's very like
very like a PlayStation 2 game. It reminds me of
PlayStation 2 game. What
like
a random
cover of a PlayStation 2 game.
Yeah, but I think that's that's some cool art as well there with Angela. Yeah, here's an 8-bit. What? If you took away the word Angela, I would struggle to tell you what that is. Oh, actually, I guess this stuff.
I feel like this is probably one of the more detailed ones.
Yeah,
to be honest.
I was about to say maybe.
I don't think this is a good example of the 8-bit.
This looks like super inappropriate. Like with the contrast between the yellow and the we'll leave that discussion as a different discussion again. Cool. We'll leave it there for looking at art. There's actually maybe we should do an episode where we just like do. Like maybe we do like if we ever have like a slow news week, we'll just do like a full episode of just like artwork. So on that, let's go away from the variants and like the variant artwork. What about just the overall design of Marvel Snap? Like menus, buttons, like videos, audio.
I think the audio is pretty good.
Yeah, you like the like snap.
Yeah, I like that guy. Like I think I said it in one of the early podcasts. It reminds me of Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, that's right.
I like the game UI is pretty good. I feel like the menu is just very convoluted.
Okay.
I think there's just so much going on, but I think with like any mobile game with a lot of currency,
yeah,
you're just kind of you just get used to it, and you know, okay, there's like 3 different types of currency. There's boosters, there's credits, there's gold.
Yeah.
So you kind of like slowly realize what everything's for. So it's not too bad at the moment. Like once you get used to it, but I do think, there's the main UI is probably not the greatest that I've seen. But
yeah.
other than that, I do really like just, in general, the way the game plays. It runs pretty smooth on my phone. I think I upped it to 60 FPS, so it runs pretty...
yeah, sick. That's cool.
Pretty smoothly, so I think it'll be even better on PC.
Is that in the menu? You can like bump up a frame rate to like 60, yeah? I think I did that as well.
I don't know if it's on Android. I don't know if it's on iPhone.
Yeah,
I'm assuming it would be.
Maybe I'll check that. I'll actually check that. That's
so just if you're used to playing, PC games, you want smoother frame rate as possible. But obviously in a game like this, it doesn't matter too much, but it just looks a bit nicer.
Mine just has like low quality, medium quality, high quality. No, there's auto, 30 or 60.
Yeah.
So I think auto would have done 60, but I'll put 60 anyway. I don't even think I looked at that. That's it's good to know, I guess, if you've got an older phone. Older device.
I've just put on 60, and I think I did notice a difference.
So now,
I remember,
now on PC, all we need is like 300 FPS, yeah?
Surely you'd be able to hit that.
300 FPS, like super smooth Marvel Snap.
Yeah, no, the whole game looks great. I think they've done a good job.
Yeah, cool.
Overall.
Yeah, I think the layout for like mobile's fine. I actually find it like just from playing other mobile games that are like way more convoluted with currencies and things like that. I think for the first like few days it's confusing, and then after that everything just I know where everything is. I know where I like that they have like a little news button. I don't click it that often, but I think for people who don't like, if they're playing the game casually, they're not like trying to keep up with the meta and trying to keep up with all the latest news, just being able to click that and read patch notes and stuff, I think is pretty sick. There's a lot of other games that don't have that. They just expect you to like go to their website and find the patch notes. So I do like that for sure in the UI. Cool. Well, guys, that's pretty much all the main topics we have for this episode. But we are, of course, playing everybody's favorite game, Snap Who. It's our weekly quiz where we try and guess a Marvel Snap card. I'll go through the rules quickly. So one of us will say the ability of a Marvel Snap card. And the other person has to guess the cost, the power, and the name of the card. They get 1 point for each for a maximum of 3 points. Tom and I are both currently tied at 5 points each, so we're a deadlock right now. This week I'm going to be picking the ability, and Tom's going to be trying to guess the card. Now, I actually had a card in mind, but I actually realized we spoke about it fairly heavily during the episode. I won't tell you.
Surely it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. But I've realized that if I tell you this ability, you are actually going to guess it like instantly.
Can we do it? Just off the record doesn't count.
Off the record, I will do it. Ongoing. Actually, let me read it properly. So
it's going to be embarrassing now that I don't get it. If I don't get it,
look. If you get all 3 of these, I will give you 1 bonus point. All right.
Okay.
You get a bonus point today for this one. So, guys, this is the pre-Snap Who question. So it's abilities ongoing. Your highest power cards get +2 power.
Oh, Cerebro.
Huh?
I don't remember. I think it's... I know it's 0 power because you said that.
I did.
Is it a 4 cost?
You don't get the bonus point, unfortunately. It is a 3 cost. I think I mentioned that briefly. Oh, whoa. Hang on. I got to show you this Cerebro artwork. We were just like full trashing pixel artwork. This... Oh, wrong button.
Oh.
That's pretty sick.
That's pretty cool.
That's
that looks
actually
like GLaDOS.
really cool.
Have you played Portal?
Is that Portal? I was about to say it's Portal, isn't it? I actually haven't played Portal.
It doesn't actually look like GLaDOS. It looks kind of like a robot. But
that's definitely. I definitely need to play Portal. I cop a lot of shtick for not of playing Portal 1 or 2.
You definitely should play that.
Yeah, I
Play that
definitely.
on stream. That's a great stream game.
Yeah,
If
definitely.
because everyone will laugh. It'll be obvious to everyone, but you
Yeah,
need to do.
I'm actually, if you've ever been to one of my, one of the old Shadow DTV streams, that was pretty much the consensus for any game involving puzzles. I literally can only see what's directly in front of me. Yeah, terrible at puzzle games, but I play them because it's really funny to watch. It's actually, I've watched back me doing a puzzle and I will see it and be like, how did this take me an hour to figure out?
Yeah, literally. That's literally Portal, so definitely look into that.
That's going to be so funny. All right, I'm going to quickly try and find a... Ooh, I've got it. We're ready. I actually... All right, you ready?
No, but sure.
This feels a bit mean. All right, if we think this...
Yeah, I'm definitely not getting this.
Okay.
I can just tell in your eyes.
Card ability. A deal is a deal.
A deal is a deal.
Does that give anything away about the card?
A deal is a deal.
So, like, if that's the ability, obviously the card is, like, it's not an ongoing ability. It's not a non-reveal ability.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's a card without an ability, I guess.
Yes.
Give him a little bit of a hint there.
A deal is a deal.
Is this allowed? Are we allowed to do this? I don't know. We never really said anything about, like, I guess it's technically its ability. Like, it's written where the ability would be.
Yeah, it's just the flavor text, but that's, no ability. A deal is a deal. I've read this. It's a pool card, I'm sure.
It's a pool what?
One card?
Nope.
Pool 1?
Incorrect.
Pool 2?
Incorrect.
Pool 3.
I'm helping him a little bit here because I've realized this is actually quite difficult.
Okay, if it's pool 3, then I probably don't know, but it sounds so familiar.
I can confirm. I can't see a way that you haven't seen this card. Do I give you another hint? I'll give you another hint. It is played in Destroyer decks. I don't know if you have it, but this is definitely played in Destroyer decks.
No, I don't have it. But my Destroyer deck only has Destroyer as a pool 3 card. So, a deal is a deal.
Are we saying that this is allowed, or am I like just cheating here?
Yeah, no, we can say it's allowed. Like, I don't see why not.
Because if you do it to me, I'm fine with it.
It's the same as reading an
ability. Yeah, that's right. I agree.
But can I have another hint? Is that allowed? Can I like get Dr. Point?
All right, that's fine. You can get Dr. Point. All right, yes, because it is a bit of a difficult one. Okay, so this is now for 2 points. You still have to guess everything right though.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty big hint. This is not the card that you play.
Not the card that you play.
So you don't have this in hand and you play it. So essentially, a card will create this for you. Oh, anyone that plays Destroyer decks are just going to be like screaming right now.
Wait, so it's a card that you don't play.
So you don't like draw this card. You draw a different card, and when you play that card,
it's the demon.
It's the demon. I can't tell you. Yeah, but what's its stats?
1 cost, 6 power.
Very, very good.
I knew I saw this card.
Love it.
Okay, so that was like a spawn, like that was like a token card. It wasn't actually a card.
That's why I was like, this is really gonna throw you because it's got like no ability. And it also gets spawned by the hood. People in chat were actually like yelling the answer.
I've got chat on my phone, but I actually wasn't watching it.
That's funny. So did you? So you know that like you've seen the hood played in Destroyer decks, yeah? Yeah. When I said that, I'm like, maybe
I've
this
got
will give it away.
That's the thing.
Do you actually play the hood?
No, I don't play it, but I've got it in my I've unlocked it, so I know reading. That's why I knew a deal is a deal. Like I've seen it, I've read it.
That's great. That's
okay.
That's so good.
I'll take my 2.
You'll get your 2 points. I'm giving you the 2 points because you knocked all
I'm satisfied with that.
I think that's fair. I thought I'd give you a few hints there because it was actually quite a difficult one. Chat. Some people in chat were like trying to figure it out as well, and hopefully at home, let us know if you got it. If you're watching on YouTube, you can comment. Chat's just like, what a cheater, chooses the token. Yeah, no, it was a little bit unfair, but 2 points. That's I think that's very, very. I'm
Okay,
actually.
so now are we allowing tokens now? Is that I think that's got to be in the rules.
I think that's fine.
We should allow tokens.
I think that's fine. If someone plays a card and the token's there, you should click it and read that flavor text.
Well, I can't go for a token next week because that's too obvious now.
I'm just gonna.
You're gonna study all the tokens.
I literally have never studied for this game, but now I'm just all week. I'm gonna be like just memorizing all the token cards and like non-abilities. Like, oh, that's great. Wow. So Tom, that puts you to 7 points. I am on 5, but I guess you will be asking me next week. Although we do have
take the lead.
Yeah, take the lead maybe. We do have some big news. I think we kind of hinted at it last week that our good friend Justin, who's been a guest on the podcast, will be joining us more frequently. So essentially, he's going to join us every week. So there'll be the 3 of us chatting on the podcast. It kind of works out in the sense that you guys are both fairly busy. So if there's a week that you can't make it due to like, you know, you guys both play sport and do a lot of other things. So playing other games, other things like that. So if you don't have time, like if there's, you know, well, everyone's got life stuff. So it'll be great that we can like essentially always have at least 2 of us, and then we can get guests on and stuff as well, which will be really fun. So Justin was meant to be with us today, but he was feeling quite ill, and he was like kind of just betting on him getting over it before the podcast, but he was feeling really, really bad before it. So get well, Justin. Well, hopefully we'll have you on next week. Guys, that's pretty much wraps it up for the episode. Thanks so much for tuning in. For those of you tuning in live, we've got some good viewer numbers today. I'm actually really impressed being the second week that we're live. So thanks so much for watching, for joining us live, guys. And for those of you that are watching on YouTube or listening on your favorite podcasting platform, like I say pretty much every week, I'm a big podcast guy. It's great when you're at work, you're on the bus, you're on the train, you know, you're driving. Podcasts are always good. You know, get that knowledge in your brain. So thanks for those of you that the podcast numbers have been really good this week. I've been really, really thankful. People like letting me know on Twitter and stuff that they're really enjoying it. So thanks so much, guys, because we wouldn't have a podcast without you. Don't forget, if you want to leave a review on your podcasting platform of choice, if you do it on Apple Podcasts, you can do a written review. We will read out any 5-star reviews on the live stream, on the podcast. So definitely go and leave a review. If you don't think we deserve the 5 stars, though, you know, don't feel you have to give 5 stars. We love, you know, we want any constructive feedback. You know, that's the only way to get better at doing things. You know, we're not perfect. Guys, official Twitter at Infinite Snap Pod. Go and follow there. We've had a bunch of people follow this week as well. Thank you so much. Just dropping like some news about the podcast, some Marvel Snap stuff, things like that. Yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, again, thank you. Thanks for the subs and all the comments and stuff. Some people really like to watch podcasts, and I mean, we're streaming it live, so you know you can get all those visuals, see all the cards we're looking at, the decks, things like that. So definitely appreciate that as well. Tom, I guess that's it for us. Any last words?
Nothing for me.
Damn it! You had last words last week, but
it's not Justin's birthday anymore. So
no last words this week, guys. It's good though, because when you do have something to say, it's like a big event for us.
It's important. Yeah, this is going to be very important.
Cool, guys. Thanks for those that joined us live. Appreciate yous all. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll catch you in the next episode. Peace out.
Peace out.